So, queer people and video games have a very weird history. Although gaming is something that's considered like a straight male activity, there is so much queer representation and queer games in this, mainly in like the smaller indie game market. And today I'm just going to be talking about some queer representation in video games. This is not everything. These are just the popular ones and the ones that from games that I have personally played. So yeah, let's get into it. Okay, so first up is the Life is Strange series. Life is Strange is a choose your own adventure game series which revolves around each entry in the game revolves around a different person with powers. And fun fact about the Life is Strange series, almost all of the protagonists in the Life is Strange games are canonically queer. The first game revolves around a girl named Max trying to save her girlfriend Chloe from dying and who has the power to turn back time. In the other games in the series, the representation is kind of like toned down, but there's a little scene in the second game where the protagonist Sean talks about liking boys and girls. Alex Chen from True Colors is confirmed to be canonically queer. And I feel like for a lot of people, Life is Strange is like the first thing that comes to mind when it comes to queer representation in video games. Next up is the Final Fantasy VII Remake Trilogy. Obviously, I'm pretty sure you know what Final Fantasy is if you're a fan of this channel, but it's a very popular action RPG series made by Square Enix, and the 7th game, the remake trilogy for the 7th game, specifically has a lot of like queer undertones and queer subtext, especially when it comes to Cloud. In Final Fantasy VII Remake, Cloud meets Andrea Rhodea, whose character is basically like fuck gender norms. But no, he gives a little speech to Cloud talking about gender and clothing, and yeah, I thought that was pretty beautiful. Also, there is a scene where Cloud has to dress as a woman in order to infiltrate Don Corneo's hideout. And the whole time I was playing this game, I was like, yes, he ate. When I got to this part of the game, I was like, yes, he ate. Also, it's kind of hard not to deny the fact that Cloud is at least some type of queer when this picture of him and Sephiroth exists. Next up is The Last of Us 2, which is also a very popular LGBT representation in video games because of our butch queen Ellie. Ellie was originally revealed to be a lesbian in the DLC for The Last of Us 1 called Left Behind. Also, in case you don't know, The Last of Us is a post-apocalyptic zombie horror game series where you're trying to survive a fungal outbreak. Ellie's queerness was expanded on in part 2 when she was given a relationship with Dina, and they basically have a kid together and everything, and yeah, but spoilers, the ending of this game is really sad because Dina ends up leaving. The Last of Us 2 also has a good trans representation with the character Lev, who was born a woman but transitioned into a man in the middle of apocalypse, which, yeah, Slay King, we stand. Also, fuck all of the fucking dude bros who hated on this game when it first came out, because this game is a masterpiece. An unpopular opinion, part 2 is better than part 1. Okay, this next one is kind of a weird one, but Danganronpa. This is like one of the fruitiest game series I've ever seen, and like half of said fruitiness is not even canon. But look at this picture and tell me that this is not a group of queers. I'll wait. There is some canon representation in Danganronpa. We have Kiyotaka and Mondo. They have, well, kinda, Hina and Sakura. Who else? Suichi Saihara from the 3rd game, who I believe is confirmed to be bisexual because of his free time events. I want to say Nagito from the 2nd game, Teru from the 2nd game, and Tenko from the 3rd game are all confirmed to be LGBTQ as well. Oh my god, I can't believe I forgot about Mahiru. But no, there is a decent amount of representation within the Danganronpa series. And Kenna Bridge of Spirits, which is a game, which is a action adventure game, which is kind of compared to like a Soul-like for kids, but there is a tragic lesbian love story with a heartfelt ending, and it happens when Kenna meets the spirits of Hana and Adira, partners who were separated by circumstance and unable to move on because of their grief. Next up is Baldur's Gate 3, which has a plethora of representation. Almost half the characters are queer. You can make your own playable character queer by romancing. But you have limited romance options in this game, and there is an unfathomable amount of queer representation. Okay, next up is The Quarry, which doesn't really have a lot of queer representation other than an optional gay kiss, but I still ship Ryan and Dylan, so I put them on here. Also, if you're stupid like me, I accidentally got Dylan killed in my I got both of them killed in my playthrough of The Quarry. Y'all should watch that, it's on my channel. Okay, again, this is not canon, and I just wanted to put it on here because I wanted to talk about my trans queen, Shion. She's not canonically trans, but like her story and her character is considered like an allegory for the trans experience, because she is born as a replica made from Sora, a boy, and most of the people in the organization refer to her as it instead of like her own person. So yeah, there's a lot of like trans allegories for Shion's character. And lastly, we can't have a queer game list without talking about this diva, Birdo, who is the first transgender character in Mario, and she first appeared in 1987. The game was censored down in the American release, but Birdo is still a character that appears in the modern Mario franchise, and yeah, and Nintendo has tried to basically not let it be known the fact that she's trans, but she's a trans icon. And that's the end of the video, and I do apologize to certain parts of certain people who watch this, because I don't want to make it seem like I'm shoving sexuality down people's throats, but I just want to make positive queer content because of everything going on around the election and people being scared. I just want to make my page a safe, positive space for other queer people like me. So yeah. But yeah, let me know in the comments if there's any characters or games that I missed, because I will be happy to do a part 2. And yeah. Anyways, thank you guys for watching. This is Anthony, your professional yapper, signing out. You walk away, you don't hear me.